Today's tutorial will cover the preparation of water temperature time series data, how to get it ready for uploading onto the FBIS data platform. I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and straight away I will open up my water temperature time series data, which is in Excel. The data format for uploading is relatively simple. You have two columns, A and B. The first needs to be titled date, time. No and, just date and time. And the second column, water temperature. This is in degrees Celsius. Then moving down on the left-hand column, you'll see in my instance, I have my data formatted with the year dash month dash day, and then hours and minutes. And in this case, the logging interval is hourly. So I have 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour. There is an option to do data logging intervals of 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, and in fact, 24 hours. If you use the 24-hour, then this then changes to mean, minimum, and maximum columns, so that the resultant graphs can be produced for the FBIS platform. But let's go back to our hourly interval of 1 hour intervals. What I always recommend is to start, if you have data for a full year, at 0000 hours, and then to end at 23 hours, so that you have one full day of data at the start and at the end. This is what is needed for uploading the data. I also recommend that one checks the data before uploading it, so that you can be sure there are no inadvertent measures of air temperature. In other words, your logger was exposed to air temperature, and instead of measuring water temperature, it actually measured air temperature. If you do find instances of this, the recommendation is that you either delete those data or potentially fix it if it's small amounts by using the day before or the day after when the logger was not exposed. So here I've selected my full time series of data. You can see here I ended it on a 2300s, so that I got the full day. I'm now going to go insert a graph and just select a regular line graph. I can now have a look at my data, see if it all looks within range. You can see here my max is about 27 degrees, and it drops down in the winter to around 6. So normally it would be in the summertime when the logger might have got exposed, and you might have peaks going all the way up to 50 or 40, in which case you'd want to edit these data or exclude those dates from the logging interval. Once you've checked your data, you can delete the map. And at this stage, let's go back to the top. We would then save it in two formats. The first is save it as, sorry, what I'm going to do is just delete the extra columns. The extra worksheets. So I don't need those. So that I just have the column that I'm wanting to upload, or rather the worksheet that I'm wanting to upload. So on the left, at the top, date, time, water temperature, in this case, hourly logging interval. I'm going to save this file with an appropriate name. In this case, it's the Elands River, and the year is 2013. If you don't have a full year of data starting on the 1st of January and ending on the 31st of December, it's not a problem. You can upload whatever amount of data you have to the platform, and it can also span multiple years. I'm going to replace that, and then before we upload, it's very important to save the file as a CSV, because this is the format that is used for uploading the data. So comma separated values, CSV file, that is what's used for uploading the data. You can ignore that message. It's just warning you that it won't retain anything in addition to the basic format, but that's exactly what we need. So I'm now going to close this file, and I will then show you how you would then upload that data. So now I'm hopping onto the FBIS platform, and I am going to go to the site of interest. In this case, it's the Elands River near the Huguenot Tunnel. It's a site that I've used for many years. And I'm going to click on Site Overview. Those of you familiar with the FBIS platform will know we open up a side view dashboard, and you can see here, this site already has some water temperature data. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new year of water temperature data to the site by clicking Add Water Temperature Data. And this is the form that it opens, and the sort of things that you'll want to insert are, firstly, you'd need to select the owner of the data. In this case, it's myself, so I will leave it at that. If it was somebody else, such as maybe Dean Ollis, you could type in the name, and you would easily then select it from the drop-down list. But let's go back to Helen Dallas. And my logging interval, recall, it was 1 hour, so I'm going to select 1 hour. My data started at 0000, and it ended at 2300 hours. The format of the data, we allow you to have multiple options for uploading your data, but you will recall that mine was in year, dash, month, dash, day. If you select the wrong format, you will get an error message showing you that the data was incorrect. And now I'm going to choose my file. So I'm going to navigate to my data. And what I'm going to do, you'll recall it was 2013 that we prepared. And I'm going to click Upload. You can also then add a site image by choosing the file. And very importantly, we need to now select the source reference. So in this case, it's data that is actually unpublished. And I know that this is the source reference. It's Helen Dallas unpublished water temperature data. I'm going to select that. If it was from a published report, you could filter by author and select the source reference, but essentially we've got everything in: the owner, the logging interval, start time, end time, date format. The file's been chosen. I don't have a photograph of the 2013 logging period, and I'm selected my source reference. I'm now going to agree to this data being shared and click Upload. This takes a few minutes. Normally, I suggest 1 hour uploads at a time, 1 year of data uploads at a time, so that it doesn't take too long, but you can, as I mentioned, do multiple years if you have the data for multiple years. If you get an error message at this stage, it will be shown in the top right-hand side, top of this screen. And the common errors are things like the logging intervals incorrect is a common one. The date format that you've selected doesn't match the date format of your data, or the start time or end time don't match what you have selected on the FBIS upload form. While that is doing its thing, I'm going to quickly jump to a file that I want to show you. If you have daily time series data and you want to upload it onto the platform, it is possible. And how we do this is you need to be able to have a minimum value and a maximum value. So I'm going to open up a file where I know the data, I have this sort of data, and I'm going to just open up the Excel file so that I can show you what it looks like. I'm just looking for the file now. Let me just check here. Okay, it's this one. So I'm going to open it with Excel. So in this case, as I mentioned, I don't have sub-daily water temperature data. Instead, I have a daily mean temperature, a daily minimum temperature, and a daily maximum temperature. And then I have the dates. In this case, the date format is slightly different. It's not an issue. You just make sure you select the correct date when you upload the form. And this is a way to bring in daily data into the FBIS platform, and then it can produce a graph in the same way as we have previously, which I will show you in a minute. So let's jump back. Okay, here we can see. So when your data has been successfully uploaded, you'll see a message at the top saying, in this case, 8,760 data have been added and the source reference has been updated. So now what we want to do is we want to go and check the data. So we close that form. I normally just hit a Control-R to hard refresh the FBIS platform to make sure the latest data is visible when I dive into the water temperature dashboard. Okay, so now I'm going to open up this water temperature dashboard and have a look at the data. You can see this site has quite a number of photographs, different years that I've been using the data. And what I'm going to do now is look for the data I've just uploaded, which is 2013. You select the date you're interested in. It's got to be a calendar year. And so you select the 1st of January, 2013. And I'm going to end it on the 31st of December, 2013, and click the arrow. This sub-daily water temperature data is then generated or converted on the fly into what we call a water temperature thermograph. And essentially what we have here is you have a mean 7-day moving average of daily mean temperature, which is the black line, 7-day moving average of daily maximum temperature, which is the red line, and 7-day moving average of daily minimum temperature with various confidence bands above and below. All of this data is downloadable either as a PNG file or actually the raw CSV data is downloaded. And you can also select a specific time period that you may be interested in. So if I'm really interested in the hottest period of the year, I can ask that the graph gets modified for that. But in my case, I want the full year of data. The production of these thermographs is based off work on Dallas and Rivers Moore. And if you click the question mark button here, it will open up an explanation document around that together with the original source of this data. And essentially what it provides here is an overview of what we are meaning by descriptive statistics. So for example, mean annual temperature, standard deviation, as well as monthly magnitudes of flow. But let's jump back to the graph. So we have the graph, and then below we have a table of thermal metrics, which gives you all of these values computed in the back end of the FBIS platform. Again, these can be downloaded and stuck into a graph. etc. And you can see it's now available here. And then on the left, you have the monthly magnitudes, mean, min, max, and the range, which are useful statistics when trying to come up with water temperature guidelines, etc. And you can see here, this was the unpublished data source that I selected. And that's really it for water temperature time series data. It's very easy to upload it. It is also possible to edit the data if you found that suddenly this graph looks really strange. You can go into this edit and then re-upload your data once you have corrected it. And as I say, these data, you can select whichever year you're interested in, just by clicking on 1st of January and then to the 1st of December. At the moment, you're only able to select a calendar year. You can't straddle 2 years, but hopefully at some stage in the future, we will be able to include this as a way of doing the data. And I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of preparing data, water temperature time series data, and uploading it onto the platform and what it means when you get it there. Excellent. Thank you.